Hello and welcome back to the Games Kingdom. My name is Carl King and today we're going to be looking at something that I had turn up in the last week or so, and it is the new distilled collector's cask. So this is the all-in-one solution for everything that's been put out for distilled, and along with that cask came the new cocktails expansion, which I've also done a review on after doing a playthrough of the prototype, so you can see that on Everything Board Games magazine and Zartu Games websites, for whom I do some written reviews. But I also do these reviews on my channel. I've done various different games and unboxings and things, so today is an unboxing of the collector's cask, and I've put everything in there that I've got, and as far as I'm aware I think I've got everything for distilled. We'll have to double check, but I think I have, based on the look of the box. There is a little bit of space you'll see in some of the card sort of areas, but I think that's possibly for people who like to sleeve their cards. Now I do like to sleeve my cards if I'm going to be playing the game over and over and over and very regularly. I haven't done that yet with this because I wanted to wait until everything was out and then buy all of the sleeves and do all of the sleeving at once, and I think that that's where the remaining space that you'll see once we get down to the bottom layer where the cards are stored, I think that's what that is for, which is excellent because not every storage box allows for sleeved card space, and I think this one certainly does that. So what is the collector's cask if you haven't already received it, if you've ordered it or you haven't ordered it and potentially want to? So this is the beast. So we've got a massive box, and we'll show you the difference because we'll just put that on its side, nothing should fall about. And this is the old box. So as you can see there is quite a bit of difference in here. So there's a good sort of couple of inches difference in the length of the box, and it's also obviously a little bit, or quite a bit, wider. So we've got that space there. So this one is going to take everything in it that this one couldn't. So you could get a lot of stuff in here, and I did, but if I hadn't got this, then all the new stuff would definitely have not gone in this new, or in the old box I should say. So as I say, this is the collector's cask. So it looks like a barrel for your spirits to age in, and Paverson Games have done an excellent job with this. They've got some lovely game trays in here, and we'll have a look at everything. One thing I do really enjoy seeing when you've got a storage solution of this size is the fact that they put a description showing you exactly how everything goes in that sort of tower formation. So they break it all down, they give you arrows, they tell you what they are, they've numbered some of them, and they've put alphabetized letters and things on there as well, so you've got no real reason to get this wrong. And if you keep that, as I do, I keep these in the box all of the time, not just the first time but all of the time. I mean, you know, you do what you wish with it, but for me it's always a help, especially if you've got friends or club mates who are helping you pack up at the end of the night. They can follow this as well. And then on the back it says stop, because you have to take some of the trays from the old box that I showed you and use them in this box. Now I'm not sure if you didn't have that old box with some of those trays in it, whether you could buy them separately. You possibly could. I can't remember what the thing was on the crowdfunding campaign, but you may well have been able to buy them separately. You may well still be able to buy them separately, but failing that, you know, you'll just have to make up another storage solution and put them in there. But some of the trays that came in the old box are used in this one, and you just transfer them across. So I mean, if you want to have a quick look and see what the old storage solution was like first, it was basically, so we had something similar in the smaller box, so they did that sort of tower thing there, but obviously on a much smaller scale. And then there was a single tray for some of the boards and some of the awards, the first player token and stuff. And then in the bottom there was loads of little sort of sections for your cards. You'll see that they've done slightly different. Instead of having them like that, they've put them sideways, so slightly different, but that's because more so for the fact that there's a lot more cards now than there was when this one was first produced. So we'll put that over to one side, out of the way. So these are all of the books that you get. So this is the Africa and Middle East expansion, which is also in here. You've got the original distilled rule book, so you know, a nice little book there. You've got the first taste book, so a step-by-step guide for new players. So this is really good if you've got the game for the first time and you haven't played it yet. I wholeheartedly recommend you going through this book first and then diving into the rule book. And then the rule book for the new expansion, the cocktails expansion, is as equally as big, I think, as the main rule book. So there's the main rule book, and you can see there that you know, they're pretty much the same sort of amount of pages in it. In fact, let's see if they're numbered. So there's 24 in that one and there's 20 in that one. So that's an expansion, and it's got almost as much stuff in it as the original book. We'll put that to one side because we'll have a look through that in a bit. These are some of the newer trays, so these ones, and some of the newer components that you get and you place on the new board that we'll have a look at as well. We'll go through everything in the box, not in huge detail, but I will show you what it is. So they were very nice. They all came nicely bagged, and these came the usual sort of punch board stuff, so you punch them out and put them in there. These two smaller barrels, they were some of the ones that you moved across from the previous box. So I think there's these two and one more, and you'll see what that other one was, and that one is obviously one of the main ones as well, simply because it housed all of the recipe labels. So on the top layer we've got your individual sort of player boards, so those are from the original game. This is a board from the new Distilled Cocktails expansion. So what we'll do, we'll just move that off to one side, take this tray out so we can have a little bit of a better look. So this is a nice, as you can see there, it's quite a deep tray. So we've got some new boards here. This is the new, as I say, the new cocktail board that you will put some of your coloured little round tokens on. And then we've got some of the other sort of scoreboards, and this is the board where you put all of your ingredients. If you've played the game before, that's for one of the expansions. These are your recipe holder boards. We've got some of the award tiles, the master distiller tile and the first player token. And then over here we've got similar things with other bits and pieces hidden under there, and more Spirit Award tokens there. So that's your sort of first tray that you get in the box, excuse me, and that holds quite a lot of the main sort of smaller boards, if you like, for the game, depending on whether you want to add some of the expansions in. So this is the other tray with all of the spirit labels and your markers for each individual player, and your tokens if you've got to 50 points. So that was from the original box as well. This also obviously is your original scoreboard and your round marker, which is you use the barrel to donate when the rounds are ticking off. And then in this box you've got all of your cards and everything else, including a very nice, very neat distilled branded plastic cocktail shaker. So you put in you've got like a little insert there of felt, you've got some nice dice that come with that particular expansion, and then you've got the lid, and then you can obviously give that a bit of a shake, and you can roll your dice. So a nice little touch there by Paverson to make that and put that in as part of the sort of package. If you've bought one of these, this is really nice. This is the sort of market area neoprene mat. You don't need to buy this, but I did at a show, picked it up. So this is quite handy because it just gives you an area for all of the bits and pieces that you need to put out during the game, and that rolls up very neatly. And then there is a sort of tubular section that sits in the back there, and that fits in there really nicely. You've got all of your menu labels, which goes on those boards that I showed you earlier, and then your sequence of a round cards, and then you've got all of your reference cards that show bits and pieces that you're going to need to refer to when you play the game. So they're all in there, and they hide and keep in a nice neat little area the solo cards for the sort of base game, and then you get additional solo cards for the cocktail expansion. So what do we get in here? We've got a load of new cards with the little cocktail glass symbol in the corner there, so you will know that they are used in the cocktail expansion. I'm not sure if you can put these into the base game without using the cocktail expansion, or whether it is just when you play with that expansion, or whether, as I say, whether you can mix and match them. So, and then they've got some dynamic market cards. So as I say, as you can see in the box, there is some space. There's a complete one there, a complete one there, and all of these have got plenty of room in, but I think that that is simply to allow for those who want to sleeve all of those cards to keep them nice and pristine. I may do that, I may not. I'm undecided, because it's going to take quite a bit of sleeving and quite a bit of money to buy all of those. At least there's only two sizes of cards. I have done the solo ones, the smaller solo cards, so I did those just to make that easier to sort of distinguish between some of the other cards. And then you get some newer solo cards again with that little logo in the corner for the distilled glass, cocktail glass, and all of these cards have that on there, all of these ones here. So they're in addition, and again you will only use potentially those cards if you've incorporated the cocktail expansion into your solo game. But the solo game plays very well just the basic, but I played it with the prototype for the cocktails expansion, and it really did add extra bit of flavour, if you pardon the pun. So here we've got all of your ingredient cards, so there's plenty of these. I always find that there's far more of these than you really need in the game, but you know, there's lots of cards in the game to use. These are all your ingredient cards, these are all your basic ingredients, so again they're all into that one slot, but if they were sleeved they'd have to go across multiple ones. And then you've got all of your other, so you've got your distilled upgrade cards, and then there's some premium ones for use within the premium market, as well as obviously the ones with your basic item cards and your starting cards. So yeah, that's a quick unboxing of what's inside. So as I said, we'll put the lid back on very quickly, and we'll use this as a bit of a table, and we'll have a quick flick through the rule book for the cocktails. I won't show you the other ones because they've been done a lot of time by not only myself but by others. So this is what you're going to get, all the stuff that comes with the cocktails expansion. So you get a lot of stuff. Some games, when they give you an expansion, it might just be a few cards, maybe a couple of dice. This really goes to town. You've got a lot of stuff, a lot of sort of, you know, thing for your buck, as it were. A whole new raft of stuff, some additional bits and pieces for your basic cards, so you can just add those in. They're not cocktail things specific, because they didn't have the little symbol on them, so I've just put them in there with all of the others. So again, you've got a lot of new cards to add in. Your washback, which you've got on your main board, you get a second washback in here to use as well. So it's a big expansion, and then obviously you've got your board there. This is where all of your new little bits and pieces, so as you do certain things, you'll cover that up with your little coloured markers, which is shown on a picture further down in the pages in here that we'll get to shortly. So you've got lots of nice diagrams. It's well laid out, well sort of documented, and it'll be fantastically easy to follow, and I think you'll have an absolute ball playing this if you're a distilled player. So as I said, you've got your little tokens and they go out onto the board as you do certain things, so all of these different colour things, so you'll have some in your own player colour, and then they'll go out onto the board as you sort of as I say, sort of do certain things and achieve certain things. You've got a nice little glossary and things at the back there, and then you've got a couple of pages that add the cocktails expansion and how you integrate that into the solo mode with a base game. So we'll be giving that another bash hopefully within the next week or two, and get a updated review sorted for it. And on the back you've got your phases, end game, and your reference. So again, another nice addition to the game. With that, it may well be that once you've started to play this, you won't want to play the base game without adding something like this in. I've played the Africa expansion a couple of times and that worked well. I don't mind just playing the base game, but this cocktails, I think that might be something that gets added in and played more than just playing the base game on its own, but we'll see how that goes over time. And yeah, so if you like the look of that, then obviously check this out. You might be able to get this in one of your local game stores, but failing that, you can order from Paverson direct. They ship from, I think it's half a dozen different distribution centres around the globe, so wherever you are, you should be within, you know, a sort of mailing distance of at least one of them. And if you want to have a look at what else they do, so you've got your distilled, you've got your luthier, and I picked a copy of the deluxe version of this up at UK Games Expo. I'm still to get it to the table. It was only a couple of months or so ago, so I've had other things to sort out. Distilled cocktails, obviously we've just had a look at. Ringyo is a new one that's coming to crowdfunding, and Class of 89 is one that's coming out in the back end of 2026. So this is just not like a nice little sort of catalogue that gives you an idea of what they do. So yeah, most of this, obviously the first sort of 3 or 4 pages is distilled, because that is still the biggest game that they've done so far. Then you've got your luthier, which is a strategic game of craftsmanship and classical music. And then these 2 games were being demoed at UK Games Expo. So Ringyo, cultivate the forest, serve the shogun, and earn eternal favour. So that's set in obviously ancient Japan. So that's coming to crowdfunding in Q3. So very close to that now, becoming live, if not live, on potentially GameFound, potentially, or maybe Kickstarter. I wasn't sure which one that is, in 2026. And this one, Class of 89, is basically sort of American high school, and sort of back in the 80s when we had music on tape and cameras that were, you know, film, and you had to go and get them developed. This is all set in that era, and I watched a few rounds of this being played, and that really did look very good. I like the look of Ringyo, but Class of 89 really struck a chord because I'm a, you know, sort of 80s music fan. So yeah, Paverson Games, if you want to check them out, and you can get in touch with them as well. But yeah, check them out online, and check them out for either purchasing these direct, as well as potential upgrades for any games that you already have, for news of stuff coming out when those things are exactly coming out to market and going to crowdfunding. And yeah, so distilled collector's cask, an excellent addition to the distilled sort of family of products, and one that I think if you haven't got this, then and you've got everything for distilled, this is what you need really, so that you can sort of keep it neat and tidy, everything in one place. When you're taking it to a games night or friend's house or something, or breaking it out, you just break out the one box, everything's in there, and you can decide which bits you want to add in or not as you see fit. So there you have it, distilled collector's cask from Paverson Games. For me, this is another winner, and until we do another one of these, it's bye for now.